morning, Rabotai, Beruchim Abayim to everybody. Wednesday, the 10th day of Iyar, corresponding to May 15, 25th day of the counting of the Omer, the live video feed Lighthouse Torah project, sponsored Le'ilui Nishmat, Devorah Feige Bat Shemuel, and Refuah Shelema of Ora Devorah Bat Rivka among the Holim of Am Israel. Additionally, the iTorah.com dedication today, the Refuah Shelema David Menachem Ben Devorah Leah, Shidduch for Sarah Simcha Bat Sophia, as well as Nehamadina Bat Hanabatia. We also dedicate the learning of today for the peace and harmony in Eretz Israel. In the border of Gaza, maybe some action coming up, but Be'ezat Hashem, you know, we're coming to the beautiful day of Pesach Sheni as well as Lag BaOmer. So the zechut of these upcoming holidays, or miniature holidays, will bring happiness and salvation for all of Am Israel. So we'll save this topic of Pesach Sheni tomorrow, very nether, before I travel. So we'll continue today with the learning of Sefirat HaOmer, message number 25. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, She'akol Nihiyah B'Baruch. Amen. As we know, for this entire week, we are welcoming or spending time, quality time, as they say in marriage, with Moshe Rabbeinu, alav shalom. But today, we have a bonus round with Moshe. Since the Sefirah of today, it's called Nesach Sheba Nesach. Yesterday, we discussed the idea of Nesach, which means eternity. Thank you so much. I apologize for the second microphone. Sorry. Better now? Beautiful. For Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom. So let's discuss about the essence of what Moshe represents. So far, we discussed earlier in the week that the Torah is eternal. The essence of Moshe Rabbeinu has a long-lasting effect in mankind. But today, we'll discuss about Hashem a bit, about godliness. Obviously, we say in our daily prayers, Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Imloch, Le'olam Va'ed, the very famous pasuk that is repeated several times in different instances in life. Interesting, when we come to the Shabbat prayers, when it comes to the Musaf, we say, Keter itenu lecha, which Keter in Hebrew means a crown that we are crowning Hashem as the king. This crown has different versions. One crown represents the mitzvot of the Torah plus the 7 rabbinical laws. That makes the number 620. But you know what else 620 represents? The pasuk that says, Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Imloch Le'olam Va'ed. If you add every letter to this pasuk, it's going to give you the magic number of 620. Additionally, what is the meaning of this pasuk? Let's translate the pasuk together. Hashem Melech, Hashem is the king. Hashem Malach, Hashem was the king. Hashem Imloch, Hashem will be the king. Le'olam Va'ed, forever and ever. Meaning to say, if someone ever asks you what exists for eternity, our unanimous answer will be, above anything else, the essence of Hashem, the presence of Hashem in the world. You know, here he gives 3 messages, as we always try to do this in the Omer, to understand ways of self-improvement. So here he brings an interesting Gemara in Nedarim. The Gemara in Nedarim hints to the topic of Hitbodedut. Hitbodedut can be explained in many ways. One explanation could be meditation. you meditate, you think about godliness. Other opinion explains, Hitbodedut means talking to Hashem, talking to God. You take a few moments in the day by yourself. Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to listen. You are in the office. You are at home. You are in bed. You are driving. You are praying. And in your mind, you mitboded. Mitboded means the combination of badad, lonely. This is your private time with Hashem. Although we need to be realistic with ourselves, the prayer, tefillah time, it's also a time for Hashem. And specifically the Amidah is a super time with Hashem. But again, when you do the Amidah, you press with time. You have a whole list. You don't want to miss the Hazara, you don't want to miss the Kedusha, you don't want to miss the Birkat Kohanim. But when you do the Hitbodedut, when you take a few moments in the day to talk to Hashem, which let's clarify, this is not something that for talking one more time, automatically it will become second nature to our life. It takes the mind, it takes the time, it takes the effort for us to understand what are the benefits of talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, you may ask, what do I talk to God about? The short answer, anything and everything. Any topic, what do you want to talk to God about? Parnasa, go ahead. Shalom Bayit, go ahead. Refuah Shelema, go ahead. Physical health, go ahead. To raise your children properly, go ahead. Those are from the best prayers. Because we're not asking nothing for you. You're asking something for your future, for the future of Am Israel. That's why whenever somebody becomes a bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, etc., what do we wish? We say that the child should be a source of pride to the parents, a source of nahat to the parents. Why? Because if there is one area in life that a person derives great joy and happiness, is when it comes to their own children. As they grow, they become mature, and Baruch Hashem, they bring you pride. Additionally, we can throw in the situation that parents should pray for the spiritual welfare of the children. And this is definitely a great opportunity when a person speaks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Of course, speak about Parnasa, speak about health, speak about Shalom Bayit. Every request is very, very important. But remember also to pray for the welfare of our children. Ben Adam la Habero. Ben Adam la Habero, it has an interesting concept. The topic of commitment. You know, commitment is something that is utilized in different areas of life. When a husband and wife get married under the chuppah, they commit themselves, right? To love each other, to support each other, to respect each other, at least in theory. In the beginning, that's how it starts. What happens after, I cannot answer you. But this is the reality of life. But let's talk about interpersonal relationship. And here he's hinting that a person needs to be respectful of others. What does it mean? Here is not talking about the concept of the way we treat each other. I don't need to wait till the halfway of the Omer for being told, make sure to speak to people respectfully. That was already learned even before the Omer. But here he's talking about the concept of time. Being respectful of other people's time. You know, stealing, okay, geneva or gezela, how many different ways of stealing exist according to Jewish law? Let's think. Stealing money, gezel shena, stealing sleeping, gonev da'at, stealing the mind, gezel zeman, stealing time. How do you steal time? One example he gives today, let's say that you say, okay, I'll see you in your office at 10 o'clock. And then it's 10 o'clock and you did not leave your office. So by the time you're going to leave and you're going to get there, it's going to be 10:45 or 10:30, depends on traffic. And you say, not a big deal, he's in the office anyways. Today's messages, how do you know that? How do you know that? Maybe he blocked his time to meet with you from 10 to 10:30. And at 10:30, he has another meeting, another appointment. So it says, be respectful of people's time. Meaning to say, including in the world of the rabbinate, rabbis, and I talk about myself only, I cannot talk about others, but usually they have what to say. I hope. Okay, they have what to say. But rabbis also need to be respectful of the schedule. For example, Sha'arei Sion this weekend, right? We have the same thing as here. The fixed time for the class, certain amount of minutes, different speeches, one minyan 10 minutes, another minyan 45 minutes, another minyan 8 minutes, another minyan make sure you don't go past 5 minutes. Not a problem. We adjust ourselves accordingly. And I asked the fellow, is there a clock in front of me? Because don't expect me that I'm going to be able to figure how long is this. And guess what? Once you cross the line of time, people already get antsy. You may have said a beautiful Devar Torah, but they are so in a rush to do Musaf and to leave or the Sabbath that it misses the whole point. So interesting enough that this is the message of today. It says, if you made a commitment to meet the fellow at 10 o'clock, plan yourself to be there at 10. There was an unexpected setback. At least have the decency of picking up the phone and said, I apologize, I wanted to be there on time, but something happened unexpectedly. I'll be there around 11. Is that okay with you? Yes, thank you so much. I'll tell you this because I get from both sides of the coins. If I have to meet someone, like yesterday it happened to me. I had an appointment at 11 o'clock. At 10:30, I get a phone call from the hospital. Somebody, unfortunately, is in the hospital, very critical condition. The family called me out crying. Rabbi, please come, run, fly. We sent the helicopter. So what happened? I had to go. But I told the office staff, tell this person that is coming that at a medical emergency to please wait for me a few minutes. And Baruch Hashem, I wasn't that late. But right away, I understood if I have an appointment, I need to tell the person, or the opposite. Or the opposite. Somebody wanted to meet with me. And I said, okay, we'll meet at this time. He saw me standing in the shul. But then I went to the office and I saw my schedule. And I said, I have 2 appointments at the same time. So what did I do? I called the phone person. I said, Mehila, let's meet an hour later. So this way, I can talk to this couple, and then I meet you and your family, etc. And Baruch Hashem, people are thankful that you are conscientious of their time. In America, they say, time is money. In Torah, they say, time is life. Time is life. You know, remember the famous story of the Gemara in Kiddushin, right? That a Gentile the father had one of the stones of the Hoshen Mishpat, right, of the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. And the rabbis came to the house of this Gentile and willing to pay an exorbitant amount of money for that stone. And what does the son of this Gentile says? We love to sell it to you, but the key of the safe is under my father's pillow, and now he's taking a nap. How can I wake him up? Can you imagine Walmart calls you while you're sleeping and your son says, I'm sorry, my dad is taking a nap. What's going to be your reaction when you wake up and your son says, Dad, by the way, Walmart called, but I told them that you were sleeping. Right? And Hashem rewarded this Gentile because he's teaching Am Israel how far does Kivud Abba'im reaches the mitzvah of honoring parents. And this Gentile was compensated double, because a year later, he became the owner of the Para Aduma, the red heifer. So he was rewarded for honoring his father and teaching the lesson of not disturbing someone that is asleep. I remember many years ago that somebody asked me to check a shidduch profile. You know, today you have a shidduch profile, you have like a business resume, like a resume for a position to apply. Now there is a shidduch profile. Right? I have many of those in my files. Okay? Basically, where the person is born, what the person do, what is he doing, what is he looking, etc. So I forward this to a suitable candidate. They didn't end up marrying each other, but okay, we try. You know, this is like you make, you try. Some work, some doesn't. At the end of the day, as we said a few weeks back, the main thing is that we make the effort. God would deal with the end result. And this girl sends me back a questionnaire. Rabbi, ask him this question. And then one question says, in the yeshiva, when he was dorming in the yeshiva, and he walked into the room, and his roommates were asleep, did he turn on the light or not? When I saw this question, I started to laugh. So that brought me back to my memories that one of the rules of the yeshiva dorming, especially in America, is that usually they encourage you to go to sleep between 10 to 11, so the next day at 6 o'clock you wake up refreshed. But it says, once your roommates are sleeping, only open the door of the closet for the light and don't turn on the light of the room. If anybody's listening to this class today, he says, Rabbi, come on, to this level. But you know what it shows? A certain level of sensitivity. You are married. Do you turn on the light in your bedroom while your wife is asleep? I don't. Try. If you try, you will only last one day. You will only do it one time. Like forgetting your wedding anniversary. How many times can you afford to do that? Or you're forgetting your wife's birthday. Or your mother-in-law's birthday. Okay, only one. You can afford only one time. So here is teaching us, the Sefirah of today is be considerate of others. At all levels. We're not even talking about honesty in business. We devoted a couple of minutes yesterday. Now we're talking about time. Let's say you walk into a store, okay? And you're not planning to buy anything. You're just browsing. Now the attendant or the store employee behind the counter looks at you. Oh, this could be a G customer, right? They say, right? 1,000. I'm not in the business, but I heard all these kinds of things. You look at the customer, you see me, for example, okay? Let's talk about me. A fellow comes in with a tie and suit. Okay? Mega, right? It's in your mind because, oh, this person. But I know that I'm not planning to buy anything. I'm not planning to buy anything. You know what should be our position as a customer? I'm just browsing. If I need anything, I let you know. Why? Because they may be spending 15 minutes, 20 minutes on me, and then they are neglecting or overlooking maybe 2 or 3 other potential customers that could be real customers. And I don't have the intention of buying. Why? I don't have my wallet on me. Or, you know what? I'm just looking. I want to do my research. I want to do my due diligence. I want to feel the product. If I like it, I buy it. That is also a lesson of how to be considerate for the work that other people do. So at the end of the day, message number 2 is all about consideration. But there is one more. Procrastination. Procrastination in English means literally delaying to do things. Usually things that we like and love, we do them right away. Now, I'm not saying that everything you put in a back burner or something, it means that you don't want to do it. But also in life, a person needs to learn how to prioritize. You need to put your priority. What's my priority? My priority is pray, breakfast, learn a few minutes, and then I go to the world of business. Whatever that may be your business day or your planning of the day. Okay? That is the seder. Like there is a order of getting dressed. You don't put the tie before your undershirt. Right? How do you get dressed? Undershirt, sisit, shirt. Then you put on the tie. Then you put on the jacket. Pants, etc. Obviously. You don't put your socks after your shoes. So there is a seder. There is an order. You know what is he talking about now? It says, when you are becoming aware of someone that is very ill, don't delay their visit. Don't delay fulfilling the mitzvah of Bikur Holim. Because sometimes, God forbid, he says, okay, I'll go next week. Are you a Navi that is going to live till next week? Obviously, if a person has a cold, something minor, so then you plan it accordingly. But when it comes to matters like yesterday's situation, I could have said, okay, I'll go after the class tonight. But if you would have heard the phone call and the crying, you know, Baruch Hashem, there was a miracle later on in the day. But early morning when I got the phone call the Hevra Kadisha. God forbid. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, someone. You understand? So it says one more. Here he brings an interesting concept which they are called Yod Gimel Ikarim of Emunah. Maybe one day, Belly Nether in the future, Belly Nether will have a specific shi'ur on that topic. The 13 principles of faith. And one of them is about Mashiach's arrival. אני מאמין באמונה שלמה בביאת המשיח, ואף על פי שיתמהמה עם כל זה, אחכה לו בכל יום שיבוא. Basically, in plain English, it means, I believe in Mashiach's arrival, and even though he may be delayed, I wait for his arrival every day. No one can deny it. At least I have this conviction, and I'm sure that many of you have it, that we are literally at the verge of Mashiach's arrival. There's a lot of things going on in the world, going on in America, going on in the Middle East, going on in Israel, that if we look at every scenario with a godly eye, or even with a spiritual mindset, you'll see how Borei Olam is shuffling the pawns of the map of the world to determine, okay, Iran, not to worry. Syria, I send the Russians to take care of you. Israel, stay home. Gaza's not to worry. Gaza's always tried to fight against Am Israel, etc. America, not to worry. You have now a new president that is pro-Israel. I believe yesterday they celebrated the move of the embassy, right? Or 2 days ago? A year already. Okay, so B'ezrat Hashem, many more embassies will follow, which slowly they are. But bottom line, it says that the emunah, the concept of faith into Mashiach's arrival, it is not something that because time is going by, it's winning off. Basically, it's almost forgotten. Here it says in today's Sefirah, Nesach Sheba Nesach, we have a commitment from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Beshabu Banim Likbulam, that sooner or later, all of Am Israel will live in peace, in harmony with the rest of the world. Like somebody said the other day, the Jewish people are not the initiators of problems, They are always attacked. This came, I think, from a political analyst. It's saying, how could it be that a nation gets 700 or more missiles and they do a mild response and they send messages to those who live in Gaza? By the way, we're going to, can you imagine immigration, ICE is calling the fellow, it's okay, we're coming to pick you up. It happens. It happens more often than you think. They do these raids and they pick up people that have issues with immigration, etc. Can you imagine? They send you a text message. When can we pick you up? What are you going to do if you get such a phone call? You're going to run away. Right? Haz v'shalom. Don't get ideas. Everybody's legal here, right? No, because on the world, on the tube, it goes around. So we need to make sure that we're not creating any issues for anybody. Baruch Hashem, let me check. All good? All good. All good. All good. Kosher status. Baruch Hashem. It's important. Anyways, but it says, this emunah that Am Israel has through the centuries is what kept us alive and well. And this is something that I mentioned this several months ago in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, alav shalom. The Baal Shem Tov, which obviously great tzaddik over 300 years ago, give or take, he explains about the topic of emunah, faith. And he says there are two levels of emunah. I shouldn't say that. There are 1,000 levels of emunah. But there are two groups of emunah. One emunah, he says, is the emunah injected into our heart, in our neshama, by our parents, by our teachers, from the younger years of life. And the second aspect is the emunah that a person developed throughout life. And I'm sure that we all go through life with certain challenges, with certain situations, with certain setbacks. But guess what? If I need to summarize what's keeping us alive and well, it's emunah. It's actually a pasuk that says, Saddiq be'emunato ihye. When the Navi needed to summarize what keeps us alive as a nation and as individuals, only emunah. Because what emunah does, faith does, it basically enables the person to deal with the challenge or with the problem in a much more proper and calming way. A person that has emunah does not drown in a cup of water. That's an expression for those that are not born in the USA, that it means that a simple scenario, it shakes the life of the person. It darkens the life of the person. Haz v'shalom. And even if something like that may happen, remember that Sunday, Be'ezat Hashem, will be celebrating Pesach Sheni. What is the whole idea of Pesach Sheni? Halachically, we have no change. Yes, we say Yehi Shem. We eat Masa. That's a tradition. What else do we do? Nothing else. But the message of Pesach Sheni is what? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives always, each and every one of us, a second chance. I say the word second chance, but it's not realistic. It's the millionth chance. Every other time we get another chance. Okay, next time be more careful. That's how it works, 95% of the time. Occasionally they say, you know what, you ran out of lifelines. You know what, show me the goods. Show me your change. Show me your ways. And then I'll show you my ways. Ben Adam le'atzmo. I like to throw into this topic of today a couple of moments, not a lot, but a couple of moments to talk about marriage. What aspect of marriage? Dependability. Who depends on whom? So I'll tell you quickly the Gemara of today, and then we'll see how this applies to us. The next paragraph talks about the person becoming reliable. The previous topic was to be conscientious of other people's times, of other people's emotions and feelings. Today is about being reliable. Now, the Gemara writes that the wife and the children rely on the husband, and the husband relies upon the one that created the world. That is what the Gemara writes. Shehi behen teluim bo, behu talui b'mi she'amar v'haya ha'olam. That is the translation of what I just said in Hebrew. I preface it with the English version. So this is in marriage as a whole. But let's talk now about the person themselves. Let's say someone asks you for a favor, or somebody asks us to do something, and we don't do it. Why didn't we do it? Could be many reasons. But one reason could be because we are just not reliable. We don't pay attention to the need of others. And that's what it means. Today's message is make sure that people can count on us. If your wife asks you a favor, or if a friend asks you for a favor, or if the rabbi asks you, or the synagogue asks you for a favor, and you are in the possibility of doing it, do it. Otherwise, I'll come back to you a week later. Were you able to do it? Where I ask you, no, I forgot, I couldn't do it, I got busy, I'll do it later. Rohi, I needed it done that day or the day after. Now you're coming to me a week later, now I need to find a way of solving the situation. So, we all understand that to do hesed, to do kindness, is an essential element of life. As the Pasuk says, Olam Hesed Ibbaneh. One of the pillars of the world is the concept of kindness. Kindness doesn't necessarily mean giving somebody a ride, or helping somebody carry a luggage, or giving somebody a job, or giving somebody money. Kindness could be just doing a favor to someone, or doing something for someone. So the message is, make sure that you are reliable. Make sure that you are dependable. And understand that we all have people that rely on us. How many people rely on us? So I gave you a few examples from the Gemara. Husband, wife, children. That's already one unit. Okay? But maybe, besides being a husband, you are also a son. And you need to take care of your mother or your father. Or you have a family member that needs help. Physical, your in-laws, excellent point. Sometimes the in-laws, become dependent on the daughter, on the son. And that's why it's a very fine line, which I always encourage in-laws not to live by their children. One thing is to have a visit or privacy, and sometimes I do know from personal experience and professional experience that all that is very relevant on the personality of the person. Some mothers or father-in-laws, they know how to stay away, how to keep the comment to themselves, not to bother, not to mix in. That's beautiful. But in reality of life, I'm dealing now with another case that unfortunately part of the challenge in the relationship between husband and wife is not the husband and wife. It's the outside family influences that disturbs the peace and harmony of their home. So this is something that we need to be very careful with. And this is only just talking on a family case. You know, somebody moved recently to the community, and the first question I asked this person is, where are you living at? Rabbi, be happy. Say, why? I took an apartment for myself. I said to the person, I'm so happy that you did that you did not move in with your family, your children, son, daughter, etc. The distance is important. And I repeat, and I hope that nobody takes it the wrong way, there are exceptions to this statement. Sometimes you cannot leave them by themselves. Sometimes you cannot afford for them to live by themselves. So, but you need to try to do the best that we can in the scenario. But what about if you are a rabbi, or if you are a teacher, or you are a president of a shul, or you are a mesader in a synagogue, or you are the president of your company? How many more people rely on you? How many? There are no numbers. At least in my case, I have no numbers. I cannot tell you I have 50. I can tell you I have a lot. Maybe 500, maybe 1,000. Who knows? So there is a concept of a person, and I'm talking to myself also, needs to be reliable. And we need to build our personality that people can rely on the things that we need to do in life. You know, a few weeks ago, I had to become a referee, which I do that sometimes, in a dispute between partners. One partner in business, you need to clarify today, partner in business, okay? I know you got it, I know you got it. I know, Haz v'shalom, Haz v'shalom, shalom. Come on, guys, yes, come on. Anyways, so one partner is very meticulous in doing everything on time. Pay on time, salaries on time, bills on time, tax, beautiful. Today, that's the way that we live today. You know, at least the younger generation for sure has everything auto pay, right? Everything set up in the bank account, also middle age, and probably older people as well. You know, writing checks, it's becoming like old fashioned. Okay, obviously we write checks, etc., especially for the synagogue, you know. Should always write checks for the shul. But the reality of life is that the other partner, I'll do it later, I'll do it mañana. Not to worry, the bill is due the 31st of the month. Today is only the 15th, so pay it the 27th, the 29th. And the animosity was growing to such an extent that they were about to break the business partnership, which I told them from a business perspective, if you're asking me, I will tell you, don't break it. But Rabbi, I cannot stand his attitude. And the guy says, I cannot stand his attitude. So he said, you know what? Find the middle of the road. What's your worry? That he doesn't pay the bills? Reverse roles. If you are concerned that payments are not being done on time and suppliers are not being paid accordingly, why don't you have a job description? You know what? You're going to take care of all the buying of the store. And I'll take care of the bookkeeping and paying expenses, etc. You know how was the end of the meeting? They look at each other and they said, why none of us thought of that? We need to embarrass ourselves in front of the rabbi, that we are like children fighting. I said very simple, because you were concentrating in the fighting and not in the finding the solution. Remember what I told you 2 or 3 days ago? Children fight and they are happy. Adults fight and they become miserable. And we ask the question, how could it be? 2 brothers fighting, an hour later they playing Legos together. Husband and wife are not talking. Like somebody told me the other day, Rabbi, I'm doing ta'anit dibur. Ta'anit dibur means the fasting of not talking. I said, what? In the synagogue, when you pray, that's beautiful. If you don't talk, what you... No, I'm not talking to my wife, 3 days. I said, you remind me of the Hacham of the Man Ishtana. No, when we talk, when we don't talk, we fight less. I said, Rohi, your mission is not talking so you not fight less. Your mission is not to fight to begin with, and learn how to be able to communicate with your wife. That's the secret of marriage that we all work on. So what's the difference between children and adults? So I think I said this a few days ago, that children want to be happy, and adults want to be right. And when we blind ourselves, I need to be right, I am right and she is not, or she is wrong and I am right, etc., believe me, that doesn't really help in the situation, in the relationship, and in the personality on the person. But to finish the class of today, we talk about being sensitive of time, being able to communicate, being able to be reliable, etc. But if there is someone and something in the world that is reliable, is a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem. Irrelevant of who we are, irrelevant of our behavior, irrelevant what happens in our life. The Navi writes, Karata vaya'aneni. In English means, call me and I will answer you. Remember the Gemara in Nedarim that I started the class with today? I think Nedarim 53a or b. What does it say? Find a moment in the day to speak to God. I do it. Not hours, but I do it. Besides my daily prayer, Shaharit Minhan Arvit, I do my personal prayer. If it's help in a situation that I'm going to be facing, or right, that's what the Gemara calls it before. Boded, to you and Hashem. God, I'm going to go now to visit someone, help the person to have refuah shelema. God, I'm going to give a shi'ur, put the right words in my mouth. God, I'm going to enter my home, make sure that everything is peaceful and harmonious. God, I'm going to go on a flight, make sure that I have a safe trip. I'm going to meet a customer. Let us hope for good news. You don't have to engage in a dissertation or in a written thesis to speak to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Maybe for some people may be easier than others because we're already doing it for a while. But try it and you'll see, relief. You'll see, actually it's a pasuk from Shlomo HaMelech, and I wish that I can give you the full explanation that I would like to give it to you. But at this moment, I don't remember. I know where I saw it, but I don't remember something that I saw it on Shabbat, and I said, whoa, I'm going to share this with the Kahal. I apologize for being human and not remembering exactly what he wrote. But there is a pasuk that says, in the name of Shlomo HaMelech, Da'aga belev ish yashhena. That's the meaning of these words. In English it means, when you have, yashhena is the way it's written, but we read it yesihena, meaning to say, a worry in your heart, talk about it. In other words, you have a situation that's affecting your life, talk to someone about it. One opinion says, yesihena leaherim. Share your problem. Maybe talk to someone, obviously, that is not affected by it. Speak to a stranger. Sometimes speaking to a stranger can remove and can see things without the emotional drama or without the emotional tangled up of situations. And the person says, you know what? You worry about this? You have an excellent situation. No. A person from the outside can see things much different than a person that is inside of an emotional hole. Other opinion says, Yesihena mida'ato. Don't let situations in life to affect your life. I said this the other day to someone that went through a very unfortunate challenge, financial, emotional, etc. And I said to the person, you know what? Lingering in the problem, in the drama, never brings solution. Of course, there is a situation, the faster we deal with it, as I said before, the better it is. But don't let it fester, don't let it become so magnified that then, God forbid, the person deals with the major situations in life. And that's why, if there is today's Sefirah, Nesach Sheba Nesach, eternity to the square root, is the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Imloch, Le'olam Va'ed. Hashem's kingdom is forever and ever and ever, from day one till the day that Mashiach comes and beyond. And I say the day one only because that's when the essence of Hashem started to become revealed into the physical world. But Hashem, as the Pasuk says, Hashem Imloch Le'olam Va'ed. This is the Sefirah of today. Eternity within the eternity. My good friends, have a great day, everybody. We'll see each other a bit later, Be'ezat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.